The trajectory of Alex Cox's career has been fascinating. A relatively successful independent filmmaker during the 1980s, Cox found himself during the 90s onwards struggling to fund his projects. By 2007, he embarked on composing microfeatures, which are defined by the Screen Actors Guild as features which cost $180,000 or less. The first of these would be 2007's Searchers 2.0, an apparent homage to the John Ford classic. My copy of this film featured an introduction from Cox himself. It is depicted in the screen caps, actually. It ought to be noted how much of a Western genre devotee Cox is. He displays an immense passion for the history of this American creative institution, and with Searchers 2.0, it is almost as if Cox wants to identify any appeal to posterity which the genre contains. Given what the American Western mythos suggests about the nation's history and purpose, it is easy to understand why the form did not persist to the present. Traditional American Westerns tend not to align with more contemporary values. The Western tended to champion the notion of American exceptionalism, that violence could be the answer. The Western genre is where the popular trope of the revenge film is given life, a vague endorsement of vigilante justice and a justification of the individual as judge, jury, and executioner. The generational divide when it comes to appreciation of American Westerns is manifested in the conversations had between Ford Fletcher and Delilah Torres. Delilah suggests that the glorification of revenge is antithetical to its initial portrayal in Western art traditions, that the American film industry is adjacent to the Defense Department in its callousness, by any means possible, and morality, and that the genre in general glorifies an ugly period in the nation's history, an era of violence, conquest, and racism. Fred Fletcher cannot deny these things, although he insists that the American Western was still nevertheless a powerful framework with which to stage episodes of moral storytelling. He cites Ford's The Searchers and its protagonist Ethan Edwards, whose name Fletcher does not recall correctly, as an example of how the genre was capable of introspection and self-awareness, and therefore a potentially ethical disposition. In Searchers 2.0, former actors Fred Fletcher and Mel Torres go on a road trip to Monument Valley in order to track down a screenwriter who once whipped them when they were child actors. They require the vehicle of Mel's daughter Delilah, and what follows is as much a love letter to Wim Wenders as to John Ford. This was Alex Cox's first sole writing credit in some time, and it is a strong screenplay. I have a great love for very garage films. I love this 2000s phenomenon of low budget, shot on digital video, independent films which rely extensively on artful framing, coherent editing, and narrative highs. A film like this is almost dependent on its graceful photographic composition so as to insist on a palpable narrative vector within each scene. I found Searchers 2.0 to be uplifting. Narratively, I liked the film, although it was the mood of optimism, confidence, and vitality conjured throughout the experience via various means which had me most admiring it. There's a real you-can-do-anything vibe which permeates the entire production, from Cox's brazen willingness to even make this film in the first place, right down to its climactic homage to iconic cinema history. Searchers 2.0 is a celebration, of sorts, for everything one cherishes in life: companionship, freedom, confidence, and movies. In a sense, Searchers 2.0 is pure filmmaking, or pure film storytelling. It delivers its screenplay with a visual emphasis in mind, ensuring that its narrative power is especially manifest within the particular barriers of a frame. A nod to the continued existence of independent films, screenplay heavy and passionate about considered framing and the vector of an image, Searchers 2.0 makes me feel excited about what any creative individual is potentially capable of with sufficient motivation. Sadly, it doesn't seem as though Alex Cox has been able to release anything comparably evocative since 2007, although I still hold out hope. If anyone is familiar with Cox's work, do share your thoughts. He is a peculiar, though wholly admirable, auteur in my opinion. Sincerely, if you can find Searchers 2.0, see it. It truly deserves it. It is one of the more sincere labours of love amongst 21st century film productions in general. Or maybe I'm insane. Enjoy your day.